Welcome to the Home Like Stories channel. Don't forget to subscribe. It will be interesting. And we begin.
Jack Reiner sat in his dimly lit apartment, bathed in the soft green glow of his radio equipment. A young engineer by profession, Jack had a peculiar hobby: scanning radio frequencies for unusual signals. His evenings were often spent twisting dials and adjusting antennas, searching for whispers from distant corners of the world. One late autumn night, as the city outside his window slumbered under a blanket of fog, Jack's receiver crackled to life. A series of beeps, irregular and fragmented, broke the silence. He leaned in closer, his heart quickening. This was no ordinary transmission. The sequence repeated itself, 3 short bursts, one long, followed by a pause. Jack's fingers flew over his keyboard as he recorded the pattern and ran it through a decoding program. Moments later, a single word appeared on his screen: help. Confusion and intrigue swept over him. Who was sending this message and why? He traced the signal's origin, his software narrowing it down to an isolated location: a tiny, unmarked island in the North Atlantic. A chill ran down his spine. There were no known settlements there, just an expanse of wilderness shrouded in mystery. Jack couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. He reached out to his friend Alice, an investigative journalist with a penchant for the strange and unexplained. Together, they pored over old maps and documents. Alice's research unearthed whispers of the island's dark past, tales of disappearances, eerie lights, and a lighthouse that had stood abandoned for decades. This might be dangerous, Alice warned, her green eyes narrowing as she studied Jack's determined expression. Or it might be the discovery of a lifetime, he replied, his excitement barely contained. Within days, the two set off, armed with equipment, maps, and an insatiable thirst for answers. The journey was grueling. Their small boat battled turbulent waves as storm clouds loomed overhead. By the time they reached the island, night had fallen, and the world was cloaked in darkness. Jack and Alice disembarked, their flashlights cutting through the thick mist that clung to the shoreline. The island felt alive. The rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the rhythmic crashing of waves created a symphony that was both beautiful and unnerving. They made their way inland, following the faint signal still emanating from Jack's receiver. It led them to the base of a towering lighthouse, its silhouette stark against the starless sky. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of mildew and decay. The walls were adorned with faded charts and rusted tools, remnants of a bygone era. At the center of the room stood an old radio transmitter, its dials glowing faintly. The signal pulsed stronger here, urging Jack and Alice to delve deeper. "This place gives me the creeps," Alice whispered, clutching her flashlight tightly. "Stay close," Jack replied, his eyes scanning their surroundings. "We need to figure out who's sending this message." As they explored the lighthouse, they stumbled upon a journal tucked inside a weathered drawer. Its pages were brittle, but the writing was legible. The entries belonged to Henry Lockwood, the lighthouse keeper who had vanished decades ago. Henry's words painted a haunting picture: the lights in the sky, they come closer each night. The voices, they whisper in the wind. I fear I am not alone. The final entry sent a shiver down their spines. If anyone finds this, beware. The signal is not what it seems. As Jack and Alice pieced together Henry's story, a low hum filled the air. It grew louder, resonating through the walls of the lighthouse. They rushed outside, their eyes drawn upward. A brilliant light pierced the darkness, swirling and pulsating like a living entity. It descended slowly, illuminating the island in an otherworldly glow. "What is that?" Alice gasped, shielding her eyes. Jack's mind raced. Was this the source of the signal? The light hovered above them, its presence both mesmerizing and terrifying. Jack's receiver crackled, the beeps now forming a coherent message. "Stay away." The ground beneath them trembled, and the air grew electric. Jack grabbed Alice's hand. "We need to go. Now." They sprinted back to the boat, the light pursuing them like a predator. The engine roared to life, and they sped away, the island growing smaller in the distance. But the mystery was far from over. Back in the city, Jack and Alice tried to make sense of what they had experienced. They analyzed the recordings, cross-referenced Henry's journal with historical accounts, and consulted experts in unexplained phenomena. Patterns began to emerge. Similar signals had been reported throughout history, often preceding natural disasters, mass disappearances, or strange celestial events. The light, they theorized, was not of this world. It seemed to feed on curiosity, drawing people in with its enigmatic allure. The signal was both a warning and a trap, a paradox that defied logic. Despite their efforts, they could not fully unravel the mystery. Jack's nights were restless, haunted by dreams of the island and its unearthly glow. The signal still echoed in his mind, a reminder that some questions are better left unanswered. Months later, as Jack sat in his apartment, he noticed something strange. His receiver, which had remained silent since their return, began to crackle. The familiar pattern of beeps filled the room, accompanied by a new message. "It's not over." Jack stared at the screen, his heart pounding. He knew this was only the beginning.
Thanks for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe.